Just at 4 a.m. Universal Time on the 3rd of October, the Martian skies burst with radiance. Something that had been scheduled as a peaceful observation of a passing interstellar visitor turned into an event that broke all the predictions. No one, neither NASA, nor ESA, nor the most experienced astronomers, was ready for what transpired. The 3E Atlas, an object that is floating through our solar system on a one-way trajectory from the depths of interstellar space, sailed by only 29 million kilometers from Mars. All of the cameras, probes, and sensors that ringed or orbited the red planet directed its attention toward the enigmatic stranger. But what followed would rewrite everything that people knew about comets, the universe, and whether we might be alone. Because for the first time in history books, Mars did not simply look up at the heavens, it responded. The phenomenon started with a whimper. The comet was a pale green glow in the huge black backdrop of space, its wispy rim of gas glimmering softly behind it. For several minutes, the data flowing in from Mars orbiters was entirely routine. The Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, Mars Express, MAVEN, and the Trace Gas Orbiter had all reported steady readings. And then, suddenly, without warning, the light started to rise, not gradually, but exponentially, as if some secret switch deep in its core had been flipped. Spectrometers detected violent gas outbursts, unlike anything ever seen before. These were no predicted plumes of water vapor, but hot and brief bursts of cyanogen and carbon dioxide, components that are supposed to be frozen out in the vacuum of space. The surface temperature of the comet rose, its coma bloated, and its energy output blasted far in excess of what was predicted. Scientists rushed to recalibrate their instruments as the readings became more unstable. The comet was not acting like a frozen rock. It was responding, nearly as if it knew it was being observed. And then, in the midst of the chaos, the auroras arrived. Mars, with its tenuous atmosphere and broken magnetic field, produces auroras hardly ever. But that night, ultraviolet detectors registered waves of light crashing over the entire night side of the planet. Bands of violet, green, and red swirled through the sky in mesmerizing patterns. The effect could not be found to be caused by any solar flare, none had been detected. The only possible cause was 3E Atlas itself. Mars' upper atmosphere throbbed in perfect synchrony with the position of the comet for hours. To observers, it seemed to be a cosmic dance, a heartbeat connecting two worlds. On the ground, the Perseverance rover captured faint flashes on the horizon, and Curiosity's radiation detectors saw fleeting bursts of charged particles. Even the InSight seismometer, dormant for so long, buried beneath dust, picked up on faint tremors, a humming electromagnetic pulse vibrating through Martian ground. The readings were irrefutable. Mars was reacting to something. If that something was from the comet, or if it was from within the planet, no one could yet say. But Mars, for the first time in its existence, was not quiet, it was singing. Seconds after the auroras reached their height, the comet started shedding fragments. Mars-orbiting spacecraft photographed glinting shards whirling away like steel snowflakes falling in the vastness. But rather than dispersing wildly, the fragments curled in synchronized arcs, as if tracing lines of force that were not visible to the eye. Scientists coined it spiral shedding, but the movement was much too controlled to be accidental. The fragments traveled in harmonized patterns, seemingly synchronizing with Mars' magnetic poles before they dissipated. Next came the Trace Gas Orbiter's discovery of an abrupt spike in methane, one of the most enduring puzzles on the planet. The increase happened at exactly the time 3E Atlas passed over. The question was no longer whether the comet impacted Mars, but how. Did it seed the planet with extraterrestrial chemicals? Or had it stirred something long asleep, something deep and ancient, hidden under the grime? Then came the noise, a gentle, consistent thrum beating every 22 seconds. NASA engineers at first wrote it off as interference. But when ESA's Mars Express picked up the same sequence from a very different orbit, skepticism disappeared. 2 spacecraft, 2 instruments, same timing. The thrum went on for almost an hour, resonating just below hearing. To everyone but Phil Stone, it was static. To professionals, it was an anomaly that did not make sense. Official rationales attributed plasma resonance between Mars' crust and the charged tail of the comet. Unofficially, rumors circulated in mission control. Some said it was response from our probes, others were convinced that it was a signal. Regardless, it was intentional. The hum ceased abruptly, leaving Mars hauntingly quiet again. But something had transpired between the planet and the comet, something quantifiable, deliberate, and actual. As dawn crept over the Martian horizon, the radiance was gone, but the instruments spoke of an even greater tale. Perseverance registered chemical irregularities in the tenuous atmosphere, chemicals that do not belong in nature outside the lab, isotopic signatures that cannot occur through natural processes, and a mysterious radiation loss as if something had removed it overnight. The methane burst vanished, supplanted by an odd phenomenon, microelectrical discharges emanating from the ground, creating intangible webs across the plains. They were called plasma remnants by analysts, but others spoke of activation. Something had been stirred on Mars, something that recalled. Whatever 3E Atlas had stirred, it had left Mars resonating with life unseen for billions of years. Deep out, the James Webb Space Telescope, parked at Lagrange Point 2, fixated its infrared eyes on the fleeing object. The readings went against all reason. Rather than losing heat, the temperature of the comet was increasing. Its inner layers, long frozen for millennia, radiated rhythmic pulses of heat. Spectroscopy identified diatomic carbon and cyanogen compound forming perfect harmonic ratios, patterns seen like coded sequences. No natural process could keep such accuracy. Next was another surprise, a weak electromagnetic echo coming not from the tail of the comet but from the ambient space, like light glancing off an unseen framework. After its data was amplified, a structure was revealed, 3 spiral rings of ionized gas, and perfect alignment with the path of the comet. The only question on everyone's lips was terrifying: who, or what, was guiding it? Terrestrial telescopes eventually provided another surprise. The green color of 3E Atlas started to oscillate in sync, 22 seconds, the same rhythm as the hum on Mars. The comet was now sending out, it seemed. Radio astronomers picked up weak modulations hidden in cosmic noise. Transduced to sound, the signal sounded like drawn-out, measured breathing. Some thought it was plasma action, others intuited intelligent modulation. But the truth remained, the pattern was repeated each time the comet passed near a planetary magnetic field. It had occurred with Mars, and now it was making its way toward Earth's orbit. If the pattern continued, Earth would be next. In Pasadena, a budding data analyst at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory uncovered something that ran shivers throughout the entire astrophysical establishment. By overlaying the pulse frequencies of Mars, ground telescope light fluctuations, and Webb's heat readings, she discovered a secret symmetry, a periodic mathematical sequence that matched prime sequences employed in humanity's first radio broadcasts to space, the Arecibo code. The comet was not a coincidence. It was reacting. Webb's follow-up transmission proved it. The comet's reflective patterns had changed, falling exactly into Earth's orbital plane. 3E Atlas wasn't merely visiting the solar system any longer. It was heading in our direction. As the comet drew closer to the Sun, Earth's radio telescopes picked up unusual patterns of interference on many frequencies. The data pattern consisted of the same 22-second beat, now with harmonics such as chords in music. Agencies triangulated the source, hoping it would lead back to 3E Atlas, but instead the readings were multiple points around it, like space itself was transmitting. Light from nearby stars even warped slightly when passing through the area, indicating a grid of energy fields. Then Earth sensors detected something impossible, our own radio signals echoing back, delayed by the amount of time it would have taken to rebound from Mars. The comet was responding to us. There were echoes within the echoes, subtle remnants of the Voyager and Pioneer greetings, warped and mixed with something extraterrestrial. The universe wasn't simply reflecting us, it was answering. When 3E Atlas approached the orbit of Earth, there was a weak green glow in our upper atmosphere every evening, beating out the same 22-second pattern. Authorities wrote it off as cosmic rays, but the scientists recognized it. The frequency of the light carried information. The comet was speaking once more, this time, directly to Earth. In an emergency summit between NASA, ESA, and the International Astronomical Union, the experts concurred, this was no natural phenomenon. The object was sending out structured signals, warping energy fields, and showing purposeful movement. Then, in its brightest explosion to date, 3E Atlas showed cavities in its core, structures that looked like machines. Controversy broke out. Do we respond? But before the world could act, Webb sensors captured the last, terrifying fact: the comet had speeded up. Its new path crossed directly with Earth's orbit. Not long afterward, the planet itself started to tremble. Seismographs all over the globe detected rhythmic thrums every 22 seconds, similar to the comet's signal. The shutters fell in line perfectly with sites such as Giza, Stonehenge, Nazca, and Easter Island, creating a worldwide lattice identical to 3E Atlas's spiral shape. Next, Webb took the comet as it emerged from behind the sun. It had transformed once more, now a smooth ball of light with rings of ionized dust pulsating in harmony with Earth's own electromagnetic frequency. In it, heavy metal frameworks organized themselves geometrically, as if constructed, not created. The world promptly darkened. Radio signals failed. The internet network disintegrated. Satellites died. The signal had devoured the electromagnetic spectrum. Earth wasn't only receiving the signal, it was broadcasting it. Our planet had become a beacon, an extension of 3E Atlas itself. In the background of the night sky, subtle green ripples glimmered, and the stars started to pulse back. The same 22-second beat propagated through constellations, creating a galactic pattern identical to the solar system. In the middle pulsed Earth's location. Humanity's query, are we alone, had at last been answered. The universe had listened. The signal which started close to Mars had now become a cosmos symphony. 3E Atlas had not used words, it had used geometry, rhythm, and light. It was not a comet. It was a mirror, revealing to us the universe's image of ourselves. So when historians recall the evening of October 3, 2025, they won't recall it as a comet's flight. They'll recall it as the evening that the stars blinked back. Now it's your turn. Was 3E Atlas just a comet, or had it been holding on for us all along? Leave your comments below, and if this tale altered your perception of the universe, subscribe and wait for more. Because now that 3E Atlas has told us the truth, the universe never was silent. It was just waiting for us to hear it out.